up, friends, and happy Friday. Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com with Dan Courtwright. I'm Sean Kellerman, Elijah Schmidt running the operations today. Appreciate you joining us. We're talking KU basketball here in the opening segment. Bill Self met with the media a little bit earlier today, has some news with Darren Peterson, and we're going to do a little preview on the Princeton Tigers as well as they head to the Fog for a Saturday 1 p.m. affair. Should be fun. I wanted to say, speaking of which, I feel like that was kind of mean, but Shreyas Laddha
will be a nerd. He's a good hang.
He's a good. Whoa! You're saying nerds can't be good hangs?
I'm not saying nerds can't be good hangs. I'm saying Shreyas.
That's unbelievably rude of you.
All right, fair enough. Sorry to all the nerds out there. You are good hang. I'm sure a lot of you are good hangs.
Damn, that's
I can talk
rough.
shop with anybody, man.
God. Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star, will join us.
Shreyas is not a nerd. He wears glasses sometimes. That's like it. But he's not a nerd.
Not all nerds wear glasses, and not all glasses are worn by nerds.
True. It's like squares and rectangles.
Yes, exactly. Good call. Shreyas will give his insight on the Darren Peterson news and Kansas basketball, Kansas football, all that good stuff that you're used to. Really appreciate him giving us some of his time. Following that, we are going to hear from KU big man Flory Bidunga, who met ever so briefly with the media earlier today, and we'll have some NFL game picks on that. How about Travion Henderson scoring 3 touchdowns last night, none of which were the first?
Yeah, I know.
My boy, Justin Fields. My boy.
I know. I love.
Dude, don't act like
I hit that any. I said my game pick was not first. It was anytime.
Did you watch that game?
I watched the first. I watched the first quarter.
I don't understand.
I didn't want to watch
how you can watch the game and think that Fields is bad. He doesn't have any good players around him.
And
no, I seriously don't understand that.
No, he's not a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. His best pass catchers are A.D. Mitchell from Texas, who couldn't catch a pass, and Mason Taylor. They don't even have Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like.
What did you think of the jerseys?
Guy who needs some help.
Patriots jerseys.
Yeah, they're good.
They looked a little too millennial gray for me.
Okay.
Like it looks like a paint sample I would pick up at like we were looking at the exact same color for our wainscoting in our house.
It's different. I kind of like it.
Sure. Okay. Hey, fair enough. I guess maybe you'll. I don't know. Maybe I gotta open my eyes a little bit.
Eyeballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 o'clock on a Friday.
Ding 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 ding.
Sports stock market. How about well, we've got so much to get through on that front. Hannah Hidalgo's on there. Nico Harrison is on there. Pennies. Yeah, you got to stick around. Don't want to miss our sports stock market segment coming up here in a little bit. We're going to hear from the 2-time national champion head basketball coach Bill Self following that. And then we'll close out the show talking a little KU volleyball and then some game picks, college football, college basketball. I don't recall if you had chosen Purdue or Alabama last night. I believe it was all a fate of Purdue, so you lost that.
I did.
You lost all your football picks.
I think I said Purdue was maybe going to cover, but I thought Alabama was going to win.
You also said Cal money line.
I did.
Which they did not win. They did cover, and you didn't take the points. So Dan Courtwright loses everything on game picks.
If you're going to go, if we were going to do women's college basketball game picks, I would have picked South Dakota over K-State. Did you see that game?
I didn't.
South Dakota
did they beat them? I didn't see that. Wow.
In the octagon of Rome. Can you believe that?
In terms of the K-State men,
yes.
I think they're going to be kind of good. I do. I don't think they're going to be good defensively at all, but they can score. They got some guys.
They have talent, but what has Jerome Tang historically done with talent?
Yeah, he's. I get it. I'm just saying they're going to score a lot of points.
Sure.
Which is not surprising because they got Haggerty and McGriff and all those guys, and they were on fire at the beginning of that. Almost blew that game. They were up by like 25 in the second half, I think. Ended up winning by 3. But yeah, Cal covers, K-State wins last night in terms of college basketball. But anyway, more college basketball game picks coming courtesy of Dan Courtwright at the end of the show today. All right, let's get into this. The big news of the week regarding KU basketball, and not surprising, Darren Peterson, the health. DP did not play, a surprise to most, on Tuesday, and then Bill Self, when asked about it immediately at his press conference earlier today, says that DP will not play tomorrow against Princeton. Didn't give a ton of updates other than he hasn't practiced the last couple days. If there's a little bit of tightness, and that's what they're calling it officially, a tight hamstring, then they're not going to have him go. Of course, after tomorrow's game Saturday at 1, KU plays Duke in the Champions Classic Tuesday at 8:30 at Madison Square Garden on the biggest stage in terms of basketball in the country. So we'll see what happens on that front. But now we know 24 plus hours in advance that DP will indeed not go tomorrow.
So I want to be diplomatic about this, and I want to spin this a couple different ways because I want to look at it from every single angle, because we've been accused of being a propaganda machine for the university before by someone whose name rhymes with Rice and Ricker, Bryson Stricker. I don't want to give him any shout outs, but it sucks, right? Obviously it sucks. You want to see Darren Peterson play. It is abundantly clear that Kansas needs Darren Peterson out there on the court. But I will say this, if you need to get him healthy for the rest of the season, do that now, right? If his hammy's bothering him and he genuinely thinks that it could be something that could bother him later, and he needs to actually take his time to get healthy instead of rush back into things, because we've seen guys who have tried to rush back from injuries before and they just continue to get injured more and more and more, and they just never play, right? So I get it from that aspect. It sucks he's not playing. It's against Princeton, so it's not a big deal, I guess. This is another. I think this is also going to be important again, just like the Fort Hays State game, just like the oh my gosh, the Corpus Christi game. I almost said Commerce. Corpus Christi game. This is going to be kind of a look at, okay, you guys are going to have to figure out how to play without DP. If there ever is a world where we don't have DP in conference play against UConn, against Duke, somebody's going to have to step up. You can't just slouch back in the couch and pass the ball to DP and just, let him do his thing. The other 4 guys out there on the court have got to be able to make an impact out there on the court, right? So I think that's a weird silver lining to him sitting out. Now, on the flip side of this, I understand the overreaction from a lot of the fans is, oh no, he's picking and choosing the games that he wants to play, and he thinks that these games don't matter, and he doesn't want to do this, and his agent's in his ear, his camp is in his ear saying, just sit out. You're already going to be a lottery pick. It's going to be fine. Go ahead and declare for the draft in January, whatever it may be. I don't think that's going to happen. There is, there's baseless rumors going around. Again, baseless rumors going around that's the thing. I genuinely don't think that's the thing, because we've talked to Darren Peterson, and he genuinely wants to play basketball, right? He loves playing basketball. That's his escape from everything, and he wants to go out there and make an impact. He cares about winning. He doesn't care about just I'll be here and then I'll whatever, and then I'll just go cash a paycheck in the NBA for 15 years and I'll be good there and do some load management or whatever. That's not the vibe that I've ever gotten out of Darren Peterson. So I think it probably hurts him just as much as it hurts the fans not to be out there. But at the same time, I do understand the concern level from the fans at this point, right? And I know I'm actually retracting my statement, because I did say if he plays less than 15 minutes against Princeton, I'm going to hit the panic button. The fact that they are now being upfront about it, saying, hey, we are just trying to get him healthy, because obviously you have the biggest game of the year so far coming up. It's Duke in Madison Square Garden for the Players era. This is going to be a big time matchup. They have a lot of really good Champions Classic, not Players. The Players era is in Vegas. Yeah, Champions Classic, right? So just get him healthy, right? I think that you should take those precautions. In my own medical experience, which is none, I say get him healthy.
Well, if you don't practice, you're probably not going to play in pretty much any sport. That's how it goes. And DP did practice leading into the Corpus Christi game. And then Bill Self saying he practiced even the morning of the Corpus Christi game and felt a little tightness. Not to give too many spoiler alerts, because we're going to hear from Bill Self later in the show, but he mentioned the steal from Caleb Wilson at UNC and the dunk, and how since then it's just felt a little bit different, a little bit of tightness. And, now, since he didn't play against Corpus Christi, he hasn't practiced. So not surprising that he's not going on Saturday. I don't know exactly how KU's schedule is going to look after the game on Saturday. I don't know if they will practice or have an off day on Sunday, but either way, they'll be out there practicing on Monday, of course, traveling as well that day to Madison Square Garden, and hopefully DP is in a better spot then. But yeah, I mean, Bill Self was also asked, what's your concern? Because this is something that you and I have talked about with the overall chemistry. We talk a lot about, okay, this is a chance for the guys to play without DP. And okay, now it's another chance. And this is an extended chance to play without DP. Well, you also want him out there. You want to be totally healthy, and you want that chemistry to be a thing with Darren Peterson as well.
That's
and
that's another thing.
Bill Self downplayed that. He said, hey, it's just a couple days. So if it continues, if this is a prolonged thing, then yeah, we're going to have concerns about it. But he's not overly concerned right now. But bottom line is, DP not going to go tomorrow. We know that in advance. And KU needs to go out and beat Princeton without Darren Peterson. That's the most important thing. And then hopefully he can go because, of course, you have the big events coming up. Feast Week, which in my opinion starts on Thursday because you have day games for college basketball and then goes for 11 days.
Oh, you mean the Thursday before?
Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Because you got like Maui Monday. But Feast Week to me, like you get day games Thursday, Friday next week. Obviously, Saturday and Sunday are going to be loaded with football and all that sort of thing. And then you'll have day games, Maui up to Thanksgiving, and then you got games on obviously Black Friday and all that. So 11 days that I really enjoy of the year are coming up in Feast Week. But yeah, but there's also those marquee matchups like we talked about. Tuesday night, which is before Thursday, of course, is the Champions Classic. That's one of the biggest college basketball showcases of the year, certainly in the non-conference. And then
Michigan
the Players
State.
Era Tournament. Right, Michigan State is also there. And then the Players Era Tournament will be the same kind of Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday for KU, maybe Thursday, depending on how the results look after the first two games against Notre Dame and Syracuse. But those are important. Those are big-time showcases during this long feast week where college basketball, along with football, is kind of put in the limelight. So that's important. And again, those are games that you want to be out there as an individual and certainly as a player. You're going to say something. You're smirking.
No, I was going to say I have empathy for Darren Peterson because, like, I pulled both my hamstrings playing slow pitch softball. So
let's talk about the Princeton Tigers.
You remember
Princeton 2-1.
You remember how long it took me to recover? I was looking at chairlifts for my house.
They are coached by 15th year head coach Mitch Henderson. Princeton, of course, comes from the Ivy League. KU has not faced Princeton since 2001, 2-0 in the all-time series. Dan, I mentioned earlier in the week they had a really bad game against Akron.
Horrible.
104-69. Tell us some more about the Tigers, what they've done this season, and some other tidbits.
Yeah. So, like you said, they're 2-1 right now. They did lose to Akron, 104-69. They beat Bucknell 73-63, and then they beat John Jay. The Fighting
Bloodhounds.
Bloodhounds. Is that right?
They actually are the
Shout
Bloodhounds.
out to John Jay College. They beat him
no relation to former Royals and Cardinals and Diamondbacks legend John Jay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, John Jay College, they beat him 100-59. So
that does count as a win. I don't get that.
The point disparity is not right. The point disparity, if you look at just like points that you got to text. They have. Thank you. The points that Princeton has scored comparatively to their opponents, it's relatively similar, but they are coming off a very, very bad loss against Akron. That doesn't mean they're a bad team, though, right? They have a couple of really good players. Dalen Davis is at the head of that. He has 16.3 points per game, averaging 26.7 minutes per game, too, which is really impressive. 3 rebounds a game. He's shooting 44% from the field, 46% from the three-point line. He is sort of their main guy, right? He's the guy who the ball always continues to run through. He also leads the team in assists as well, so he's that facilitator too, but he's their main scoring threat. Jackson Hickey, he is averaging 10.7 points per game. Kid's shooting 55.6% from the three-point line. The kid is a stud. He's 5 for 9 on the year, so volume isn't exactly super high, but still that's why he's at Princeton, is to be essentially a three-point shooter. So he is a scoring threat as well. Also has quite a few rebounds, 4 rebounds per game, a couple steals per game. CJ Happy, he's a forward. He is averaging 9 points per game, only 3 rebounds per game, which is interesting. So their bigs are not super big, which I think this is going to be a big game for guys like Flory and guys like Bryson Tiller. I mean, even looking down to like Paul Mbia, I'm even looking at Sami's Calderon, right? Because their power forwards aren't that great either. CJ Happy's really the main one, and not scoring a lot, not getting a bunch of rebounds. So this is going to be a big game to build the confidence of the bigs when they absolutely need it the most, right? Because that's something that Bill Self just talked about. That's something that we've talked about how the bigs need to play better. They can't be pushed around by guys from Fort Hays State or Green Bay or Corpus Christi or Princeton. They can't be getting pushed around. So I think that this is probably the weakest forwards, the weakest front court that we've seen out of all of the teams that we've played, aside from maybe Fort Hays. But still, Fort Hays, they didn't look terrible down low. They were kind of putting some pressure on Flory. So this is going to be a big game for those guys. Also looking down at Malik Abdullahi, he averages 8 points per game. He's sort of that center position, but he only averages 18.7 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, which is quite a bit. So looking down at their a good field goal shooting squad, a relatively good 3-point shooting squad. So, you got to be able to, stop their front court, which I think is going to be very easy to do, but their main threats are on the outside with Dalen Davis and Jackson Hickey. I think those three guys and Jack Stanton as well, who's the other starter. Those three guys are going to be the main scoring threats. You can't let them get hot from three. You got to play really, really solid defense on them.
So Princeton was last in the NCAA tournament in 2023. They're obviously probably historically the best Ivy League basketball school. I mean, there are some quality basketball programs, of course, and some of them, including Yale, a couple years ago at Allen Fieldhouse, threw a dart at us and almost, I wouldn't say almost got us, but they made us sweat a little bit. But back in that 2023 NCAA tournament, and there's a reason I want to bring this up because it's one of my favorite stats, is Princeton was the 15 seed, and they got Arizona as the 2 seed. Princeton beat Arizona as the 15 over the 2. And when that happened, Arizona became the first men's basketball program to ever twice lose to a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Whoa.
In the round of 32 that year, Princeton got Missouri.
Yep.
And Princeton beat Missouri and went to the Sweet 16, did the Princeton Tigers. And after that happened, Missouri became the second team to ever lose twice to a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament. Norfolk State, Norfolk and Way.
Man.
Right? Yeah. That was the headline on the newspaper.
I
was in Vegas, 2012.
That's awesome. I bought a Norfolk State shirt after that game.
Yeah. That was popular. But I did love.
I was a top tier hater back in the day.
I did love that KU and Mizzou were both 2 seeds in that tournament, and it was like, oh, Mizzou finally caught us. Of course, that was the year that they had maybe their best team ever, and that was the year of the game in Allen Fieldhouse, and the last year that they were conference mates in the Big 12 and all that. But they were both 2 seeds. Mizzou loses in the first round to Norfolk State, and KU goes to the national championship game. So I always enjoy that. But anyway, that was 2023. Some context, because the score with Princeton's 2-1 record that jumps out at you, as previously mentioned, was the loss to Akron, 104-69. Akron's good. They were not unanimous, but nearly unanimous picks to win the MAC, picked preseason number 1. For whatever that's worth, hung 104. They score a lot of points. John Gross is their coach, former coach of Illinois. Princeton, meanwhile, picked 4th in the Ivy League. Yale, who's been probably the class of the Ivy League for the past 10, 15 years in terms of men's college basketball, picked to win, followed by Harvard and Cornell. Again, Princeton picked 4th. But yeah, a good opportunity. And again, we don't want to continue to have to say this, but it is a chance for some of the other guys to get extended minutes. And that doesn't just mean Rosario and Tiller, guys who we know we're going to see. It means the guys that are kind of still fighting for a rotation spot, like Jamari McDowell, like Jaden Dawson. The more minutes these guys get, and this is, again, putting a positive spin on DP not playing, the more confident you are. That's just how it goes, right? Jaden Dawson is a guy who played a ton of minutes at Loyola Chicago, averaged nearly 14 points per game. He played about 20 minutes in the last game without DP. I expect that number to be similar. Can he find a way to contribute, and can he earn a chance to be out there more often and showcase his shooting ability, something that, as we've discussed, this team needs?
Yeah, 100%. And look, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, right, is it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle when you have such a high caliber guy like DP on that, and I'm not saying that our guys would do this, but I'm saying it would be relatively easy to kind of slouch back and let DP take over games. And I think this is an opportunity for a lot of these guys to not only get their footing, and showcase what they have, but B, make a case for more playing time. Like you said, with the El Marco Jacksons, with the Jamari McDowells, with the different guards that you have to really be able to kind of take over games. We saw it in the last game with El Marco Jackson. El Marco did not have a good game, right? But I think this is another opportunity for El Marco to showcase what he has, because I'm super high on El Marco. I think he's going to have a very good year. And it's also, kind of, we're still figuring out that number 2 guy, that second consistent scorer that we need on this program in order to make a successful run into March, right? We've seen Flory take over a game against Green Bay. We've seen Bryson Tiller take over games. And then we finally have seen Cole Rosario take over games. Melvin Council has had some really good games in there as well. So it's good to kind of build those guys' confidence. But again, to the point that you made earlier, it's also important to build the chemistry with Darren Peterson. Now it's easy, right? Because Darren Peterson makes everything easy, and he makes everyone's jobs easier as well. But you still need to have that experience out there on the court with him in real life basketball situations, in real life basketball games, not just in practice, right? I understand they hang out with each other afterwards and all this kind of stuff, but you still need to kind of learn how each other operates, right? Whenever DP does get a double team, you need to know when to get open, how to get open, where he's going to be looking for you on that 3-point line. You also need to make your 3-pointers as well. So this is going to be another game. Like, the main thing I'm going to be looking at is, I want to see Melvin, score upwards of 10, 11, 12 points. I want to see Cole Rosario do the same. I want to see him do it from 3. I want to see the 3-pointers go in, right? Because that's something that Kansas has been kind of lacking this year and in the 2 years previous, right? And Bill Self said he doesn't really coach shooting because, the guys know how to shoot the basketball. They know how to shoot the basketball. They know how it feels when it's going to be going in. They know how to get on runs. So that's going to be probably the main thing I'm looking for, is how many threes do they make this game? What's the 3-point percentage at? And are they going to be comfortable enough to make those threes whenever DP is in there, taking their guys off of them? And then that's how you're going to get a lot of points extended into the near future.
And that's what I want to see, is a lot of points in this game. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
right. Just
Akron
points in
likes to get up
general.
and down.
Yeah.
I want to see KU get to 90, right?
Yeah.
KU without DP scored just 71 against Fort Hays and then just 77 against Corpus Christi. Didn't have Darren Peterson. You're more likely to get to 90 if you have Darren Peterson. But
Yeah.
still, you know that this is probably going to be a game where Kansas gets out in transition. And if we do see a little bit more havoc defensively by guys like Council and Jackson, then there's a better chance you're going to have more possessions. You're going to have a chance to score more. So that is going to be important. And that's probably been one, I don't know if I would say negative, but so far this season, Kansas just hasn't scored as many points as fans would like to see. On the flip side, I'll say, hey, defensively, they've been really good with the exception of the second half, which was a terrible second half at
there's
UNC.
like one glaring stain in it. If you take that out, Kansas has been virtually perfect.
Corpus Christi couldn't do anything against KU defensively. They were in the 30s at the under 4 timeout and then scored 6 points late. I think they ended up with 46 total.
But I mean, I'll even throw in the Louisville game, right? I mean, Louisville has Michael Brown Jr., who's supposed to be this lottery pick, one and done kind of guy. Completely shut him down. I thought Kansas did an excellent job against Louisville. Now, again, it's hard to talk about exhibition games because you don't really know a lot about your team, but still, every single game that we've seen these guys play, except for the second half of that North Carolina game, there's always an exception, has been fantastic on the defensive end.
Well, Princeton, again, gave up 104 points to a D1 team. Let's see how many Kansas can get on them, even not having Darren Peterson. Next segment, we're going to be joined by Shreyas Laddha from the Kansas City Star. Shreyas is going to give his take, perhaps where he's at in terms of panic button on DP, and some KU basketball, KU football talk as well. Thanks for joining us here on KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com. Joined now in studio by the Kansas City Star's finest, Shreyas Laddha. Shreyas, thanks for spending some of your Friday with us here at Kansas Nation. Obviously, well, we were together earlier at the Bill Self press conference, and he spoke immediately. Not surprising. First question asked, how's DP? And Coach Self saying right away that he will not play, tight hamstring issues. Kind of where are you at regarding the injury, regarding panic button for Peterson and this year's Kansas team with the kind of weird couple weeks it's happened?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think this is a good opportunity for Kansas, right? Like, you get to learn how to play basketball without Darren Peterson against, I think, 2 solid teams. I don't think Texas A&M Corpus Christi is the best, but Princeton's solid enough. Panic button, I think about 4.
Okay.
I think I'll be at a 7 or higher if he misses the Duke game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had heard about the injury on Monday from somebody, and they downplayed it. And I talked to somebody else recently, and they had said this is kind of a thing he's been dealing with for a little bit, which Bill confirmed today. But they also downplayed the severity of the injury. I think they're just being overly cautious because, like, first of all, we're not even in anywhere near conference play. Their first real opponent after UNC that plays Duke on Tuesday. I think he'll have a decent shot to play that game. I know his dad is coming down. I don't know if his mom is, but I think both his parents probably coming down for that game. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to play because a lot of times parents travel even without the guys playing. But I feel optimistic that he'll be ready to go. I think they're just being cautious in the sense of if he's 80%, why push it against Princeton? They don't need him to play. And I think the interesting thing to me is I think we were in March, or if we were in like tournament time, I think he'd probably be playing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Shreyas, you talked about, how it's a good opportunity, and we've had a couple of those opportunities to kind of figure it out, how to play without Darren Peterson. And we've seen a number of different guys kind of rise to the top, like in one of them, Melvin Council had a great game, and the other one, Cole Rosario, finally was able to show up. We've seen flashes from Flory, especially in the Green Bay game. Other than that, I mean, there have been some issues of him just not playing big enough, I guess. Where do you sit on who is the secondary scoring option for this Kansas squad? Because right now it's DP and then we'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, I mean, Bill would come out and said he wants Flory to be that. I am not the opinion that Flory can be that consistently game in, game out. I think it's going to depend on the opponent and the big man he's kind of matched up against. He's a 6'8" center, right?
Yeah.
He's 6'10" on the official stat sheet or whatever, but he's undersized. He works hard. I need to see more from him on the offensive end without getting to foul trouble on the defensive end to get him to rhythm. I've been impressed in some ways, but I feel like we haven't seen him play like he played against Green Bay since then. I feel like he can be more aggressive. I feel like he can be better on the boards. I think this is kind of a hot take I have. I think Bryson Tiller could be the eventual second option on this team if he keeps up this streak he's on. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, okay, well, he's not going to start over Trey White, which I don't know if he will or he will not. But at the end of the day, I could see a scenario where Bryson Tiller plays more minutes than Trey White or plays closing minutes than Trey White because he offers something Kansas desperately needs, rebounding and scoring, right? And he's given them bench scoring in 2 consecutive games now against 2 different opponents. Bill's talked about he's a bona fide NBA guy. I had in my mailbag today, NBA Draft Evaluator said, pretty good. He wants to see it more from Bryson. Obviously, this was before, I think, the Duke game. Or sorry, before the UNC game.
Yeah.
So I think he has an opportunity for his rack stock to rise if he can keep it up. Also, get extended minutes and play a role that I think Kansas needs him to play. What that means, like, be the super 6 man for Kansas, or be a guy who occasionally starts or eventually takes over Trey White's role. Cole Rosario, another guy that I can see popping up in different games. I think ideally you hope Flory's the guy that can give you like 12 to 15 every game, but I'm not sure he can do that against every opponent.
Yeah, Cole Rosario, it's so interesting because I saw something, you guys may have seen it as well, about how he was built in a Bill Self player lab. I mean, he just looks like a Bill Self player. And it was fun seeing him get out in transition and get a couple dunks, and that really seemed to loosen some things up for him, and saw a couple shots go down as the game went on. I think he's firmly in the starting lineup, and we're not going to talk too much about that. It's interesting because Trey White, a guy who could be a 3-4, Bryson Tiller, we know with what Coach Self said recently, he kind of quietly said, "Oh yeah, he's just an extra starter," and I was like, "Okay, that's kind of big news."
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about the El Marco and Melvin Council situation because those guys are not really jump shooters right now. I'm not saying they can't improve, but Melvin, this is his last year in college, and he's hovered around 30% from 3. El Marco, not totally sure how his shooting is going to improve as his season goes on. What do you need to see from those guys? Because if they're going to be out there, you got to be contributing in some way. And I'm not saying they haven't been, but it seems like to me they need to be elite defenders because otherwise, we got other guys who can score. that could be their main way to contribute. And you know, they were, I think, what, 3 of 11 from the field last game. So I don't know.
Sounds
Your
right.
thoughts on that duo?
Yeah, I definitely think they got to be elite defenders. I mean, this is what this team is built on: athleticism and defense. I think that's gonna be the calling card when it's all said and done. Outside of Darren Peterson, um, I think Marco has to be less hesitant. I feel like he's shown flashes, like in that UNC game in the second half. I liked what I saw, and then I felt like he took a step backwards in this previous game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I just felt like he was a little lost there on the court. Um, like Melvin Council was start of the year like 0 of 8 or 0 of 7 from 3. I think he's gonna be a little better than that, but I don't, like you said, I don't consider him a guy I count on to shoot 35% from the floor from deep, really. I think the biggest thing with these two guys is, can they give consistent defense? Can they fill in the cracks with guard rebounding a little bit? Like, I think rebounding is always going to be a question mark with the way this team is a little bit. Um, and can they kind of do the things that you need them to do that Kansas kind of has deficiency in? Playmaking outside of Darren Peterson. Can they give some scoring bursts a little bit? I want to see Marco be a little more aggressive going to the basket. He has some good finishing around there. With Melvin, the same thing. Like Melvin Council talks about being a dog. Like, it has to start on the defensive end, and he's a dog at times, but it has to carry over to the way he plays on offense. Can't settle for jump shots with him. He should take it to the rim as much as he can, draw foul shots, get guys into foul trouble. These guys should be the ones to do that outside of DP, because I think they are like probably the higher end ability to drive to the hoop
Yeah.
and create fouls outside of Peterson in the roster. So I was told from an evaluator that he thought the guards outside of DP were pretty weak overall. And I'm not ready to get and say that yet. But I do think El Marco and Council need to step up a little bit in some sort of way, not just defensively, but they've got to do something else on the court. Otherwise, it's just so much pressure on Darren Peterson when he comes back to carry the scoring and all that.
Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star, joins the show here in studio. Shreyas, we talk a lot about the identity of this team. I'm interested to know kind of what your thoughts are. And then also, I know a big point of emphasis for you last year was three-point shooting, right? Kansas was not a good three-point shooting team. Looking at it now, I mean, if you look just at the stats, they're still not there, but you can see flashes from Cole Rosario. So first, I want you to comment on kind of what you think the identity is of this Kansas squad on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. And then, is the three-point shooting that's not up to par yet? Are you worried about it? Because, we've seen flashes from different guys.
I think the offensive identity is it's the Darren Peterson show. I don't really think they have any real identity outside of that. I mean, Bill Self said it best. It's, the team will go as Darren Peterson goes. And I mean, it doesn't really matter against Princeton and Texas A&M Corpus Christi, I don't think, but against Duke, against UConn, etc., you need him out there because when they need a bucket, Darren Peterson's going to have to answer the call. Like, those tough buckets, the ability to kind of put pressure on opposing teams with his ability to get to the rim is something super underrated. On defense, they're long, they're lengthy, they're fast, they're athletic. I think they should be a really good defensive team this year. Outside of the UNC game second half, they've been tremendous defensively. I think they've been much better than the last 2 years, even though the numbers weren't bad defensively last year. But you can just see how much quicker this whole team is. The switchability of these different guys on screens and stuff like that is pretty impressive. The ability to kind of recover if a guy blows past them or have a guy slide over like Flory, etc., to be at the rim has been pretty good outside of the UNC second half. And as for the shooting, I'm not as concerned, honestly, as I once was about the shooting. I feel like it's kind of coming into place. Maybe I'm
Tiller helps, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he helps a lot in that end. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be on fire as much as he has, but I think it'll even out a little bit because I think Council will start hitting a little more, and Trey White will start hitting a little more, and El Marco talked about how his shooting's improved a lot. I'd like to see that a little bit more too. Even Jamari hit a 3 the other day, which was pretty good to see. I feel like my concerns about the shooting, like Bill said, they think he's a 37% shooting team. I think that's kind of what they are. Outside of Peterson, they might have some ugly games shooting wise, as we saw against UNC and we saw in the first game as well. But I'm not as concerned because I feel like the way this team is built, like they have things that make up for the shooting not being there. I think last year's team needed shooting because they were just bad at rebounding, not the best defensive team. Like, and if you can't hang your hat, on elite offensive efficiency, which they weren't doing, it was just Hunter Dickinson, taking a lot of clock and then making 50% of his buckets near the rim. Like, what kind of team are you? Like, where's the identity? Um, but yeah, I'm a little like, I think Cole Rosario is going to figure it out. I think, I don't know about Jaden Dawson, but I think he'll maybe give you one or two threes a game. Taylor being a plus shooter is a big thing. And after that, I mean, I expect the guys who are really having tough starts of the year to kind of get closer to the career averages. That doesn't mean 35%, but even 30% from three or 33% from three is a lot better. And then there's less kind of value to force Darren Peterson to shoot really tough 3-pointers or stuff like that. But yeah, I'm definitely a little less concerned than I was like in the preseason.
Yeah, guys have to be, at least enough of threats to
Mhm.
make it not just Peterson out there
100%.
offensively. So we'll see. But this is interesting, right? Because, we're previewing Princeton, and it's a team that Kansas should beat, picked fourth in the Ivy League, all that. But after Princeton, you got Duke. Then you got 3 in the Players era. Your next game after that is back at home against UConn. Then you got Missouri, and then you're at NC State. And then you have 1 game against Davidson, then you're in the Big 12. So, I mean, you got a tough stretch coming up. Hopefully Peterson is healthy. Hopefully Kansas gets some questions answered on that front. Shreyas, talk to us a little bit about KU football. We don't want to relive last week too much, as it was another end of game heartbreaker where things went bad at the end of both halves, which is something that we've talked about a lot. KU now sits at 5-5. They need to either win in Ames or against Utah, a really good top 15 caliber team on Black Friday. Your thoughts on kind of where this program's at as we have a bye week and no game tomorrow?
I think we're heading towards a bowl game that no one will be particularly excited for.
But you expect us to win one of the next two.
I expect them to beat Iowa State on the road. I think they've had Iowa State's number for a number of years. I think both teams are kind of in this weird like stage of like how much do these games matter? I think they're 6-4 this year, Iowa
Yeah.
State,
Sounds
but they're
right,
like
yeah.
They had that
right-
4-game losing streak, and then they had to come back.
yeah,
and win last week.
I think they just lost, or they just they're just below Kansas in the Big 12 standings last I checked. I think Kansas will win that game. I think they're going to lose to Utah, and then we're going to be sitting here wondering what Independence Radiance Bowl or whatever is going to be there. Like, to me, it's either got to be they lose the next two or they win the next two.
Really?
Because like I just feel like this half in between stage of like them just going to a bowl game still has so many question marks around this team, because like, are they going to make changes if they go 6-6, go to a bowl game and win a bowl game? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And there's probably changes that need to get made on the staff and stuff like that. Not to call for any jobs, but I think things have to change, whether it's development from the portal or whatever. I look at this team as a missed opportunity if they don't go out and win the next two, because I feel like there was a lot of games this year that you were like, they probably should have won or been more competitive in. The Texas Tech game withstanding, but the Missouri game, the way it ended, wasn't great. The Cincinnati game didn't end great. The Arizona game didn't end great. Like, I feel like this is a pattern that we observed in the last 2 years in the Lance Leipold era, where they just can't close games. And somebody asked me about it today on a mailbag of like, why does he not play to win? I just think he's fundamentally built as a defensive-minded coach, in the sense of like, take what's in front of you versus be aggressive.
Sure.
And if you're not aggressive with Jalen Daniels at quarterback, why would they be aggressive next year with whoever else is at quarterback, right? Cole Ballard, Isaiah Marshall, David McComb, or insert transfer portal quarterback here. I have no belief that anything is going to change next year. I think it's going to be the exact same thing as last year. And the thing was really weird to me is Zabrowski's an ultra aggressive coach. He talked about it going for it 17 times against Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yeah.
They went for it twice against Fresno State, and it looked like they were going to go for it a lot more on fourth down. And then every key time they've been on fourth down, they've either punted or gone for a field goal, and they've lost the game because of it. I just don't know what the solution to that problem is besides Lance just being, okay, I trust my quarterback, no matter who's there, whether it's Isaiah Marshall or Cole Ballard or Jalen Daniels. I mean, obviously, Jalen Daniels couldn't play that one snap, but, like, I think Isaiah Marshall could have got 3
Yeah.
yards,
Let
4
him be the
yards,
hero,
like,
you
he
know?
could have
Yeah.
been that guy. And, like, at least you don't go out of there, like, thinking, oh, man, my defense gave up another last-second touchdown and put my team in a tough position again.
Yeah, 100%. Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star, joins the show here in studio. Shreyas, I mean, we talked about a lot of things that need to be improved on this Kansas squad, but let's talk topical here. Just from week to week, obviously you have the bye. Lance has been pretty good off of byes, aside from the K-State game. What's the biggest thing that you think that's attainable that needs to be changed in this bye week? Is it, the secondary doing better? Because I thought the defense played really well against Arizona, except for like the last drive, pretty much. What's the biggest thing that you need to see to make a change, just in terms of like week to week? What needs to improve in the bye?
Yeah, I think you want to look at what the defense did well for most of that game and see if you can copy that same game plan against some decent quarterbacks coming up, see what went wrong in that last drive. I think a lot of times they go to prevent defense, and good quarterbacks pick apart prevent defense.
Yeah.
It's bad quarterbacks that are forced to make big plays that struggle, right? And Kansas has learned that time and time again, where when they play prevent defense against a good quarterback, it feels like they give up 5, 10-yard gains every time. And then you're looking at another game loss on a game-winning drive. But yeah, I think take what you can get from that Arizona game. I need Jalen to kind of get back to early season Jalen form. I feel like he hasn't been as accurate as of late.
Yeah.
But, I like what I've seen from Highshaw. I like what I've seen from LaShawn Williams. But, I think the defense has got to figure it out.
Yeah, the KU offense, only 1 touchdown in the last 5 games in the second half combined, if you, of course, take out the Oklahoma State game, which I'm going to, because, I mean, that really sheds a light, doesn't it? Have you noticed anything in particular offensively in these second halves, aside from maybe not being as aggressive, JD being a tick off, anything like that?
I think a little bit of, like, it just feels like they have been a little more vanilla on the play calling, I think, sometimes. I think one of the things I've noticed this year is a lot less, option, which I feel like I don't really understand because Jalen is so good in the option.
So good.
And we saw it a little bit against K-State, right? And then they kind of abandoned it again as the game went along. I'm not really sure where the decision-making process on that is, but I'd like to see a little more option. I'd like to see a little more creativity. I'd like to see a little more of, like, the Cole Ballard, Isaiah Marshall usage, especially when the running backs are, like, not giving you the days that you want them to give. But also, I think it's just got to be Jalen's got to be better, man. Like, he was so hyper accurate until the K-State game, and it feels like he hasn't really found his rhythm post that.
And guys got to catch balls, too.
That too.
Right?
That too. There's been a number of drops, and it feels like because of that, there's a little bit of a discontinuity between the wide receivers and Jalen and stuff like that. Just kind of a tough all around scene for the offense. Because even in the second half, I don't think they were, like, particularly amazing against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was just bad.
Yeah, for sure. Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star. Appreciate you coming in. Hopefully next week we have a lot of fun. We had a really rough weekend last weekend, but we've got KU soccer, KU volleyball in action. We got, after the Princeton game, who we're not going to overlook, Madison Square Garden Champions Classic. Shreyas is going to be out there covering KU for the KC Star, and then hopefully the Hawks can get their 6th win on the gridiron as well. Appreciate you coming by, man.
100%. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it. Hey, after this, we're going to hear from KU big man Flory Bidunga and toss around a few NFL game picks ahead of Week 11 of NFL. That's all next on Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com. Kellerman and Daniel Courtwright back with you here for Rock Chalk Sports. Want to shout out Mitch Bales and everybody over at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. We had a nice event here a couple nights ago and really appreciate the partnership with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. We're going to have Mitch on sometime in the next couple weeks to give his take on KU and tell us a little bit about Game Day Men's Health. I absolutely love their plush man cave like setting, Dan.
Right. Yeah.
seriously, anything that you need, they can help you out with. All sorts of therapy that they offer over, and it's on Wakarusa, so not too far away either. Game Day Men's
Yeah.
Health Lawrence, check them out. Flory Bidunga, the big man for KU, he spoke to the media a little bit earlier today, and let's hear from him.
What do you think about Princeton, and are you looking forward to another or your first Saturday game at Elm this year?
Obviously, I am excited, as my teammates are as well. We're working hard, to get better, not just to prepare for Princeton, but to get better as a group and team. So, we're excited. We just can't wait to compete and then grow as a team.
How did you feel you guys grew in the last game against Corpus Christi, and what are some things coming out of that you're still looking to get better at as a team?
I'll probably say there's much to work on. We just started. We just seem to work on a lot of stuff. But we have watched film. And then we have seen what we did wrong, and then we try not to repeat. The same mistake, because when the time will come, if we make those mistakes, that will be crucial for our team.
Do you think Paul is going to be a good big, and is he getting a lot better than when you first met him?
100%. I feel like he's picking up. I've never been in Europe. I don't know what it looked like, playing over there, how, what's the difference or the similarity to it. But obviously, it's the first time when you got here, and then compared to right now, I think he has already improved, and I think he still have space to grow as a player for sure.
How do you feel about how you've rebounded so far?
Probably could do better. We learn against UNC, obviously. So I'm working on it. We're working on it. Bryson, Trey, everybody on the team. I think it's collective. We need to, as a team, block a person and just not let like one person take charge of everything. So. We're working on it, and so far I think we're getting better.
Already knowing at this point that Darren's not going to play tomorrow, I guess how's that different from maybe finding out shortly beforehand, like for Tuesday's game? Does it affect you guys at all?
I mean, I think it's great for us. Obviously he's a great player, but I feel like, who knows, in the future maybe he will get find trouble, and then we need to learn to play without him. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to just play without him and just grow us as well.
I'm curious for you, when you're playing as the anchor of the defense, in the center, what are some of the things that you've been really trying to work on to help the team progress defensively?
Yeah, they always say that the 5-man can see everything, since he's below and stuff. So obviously being vocal, and try to be as much as a help as possible. Second help to like go block a shot when my teammates just walling up. Trying to do those little things.
When you see you play next to Bryson, what do you like about that combination of you and Bryson playing next to each other in the front court?
I feel like we've been growing to each other, and then we have much to learn about each other. But he's skilled, talented. Can shoot out the arc, and then I think he has more to show us. But so far, I like him, and then I'm glad to be a part of his growth.
Thanks, Flory. Thanks, Flory. Thank you, Flory.
Thanks.
That's Flory Bidunga a little bit earlier today. Big things expected out of Flory. KU will not have Darren Peterson tomorrow against Princeton. Hopefully he'll be back Tuesday in the Champions Classic as KU takes on Duke. That, of course, will follow the Michigan State versus Kentucky game at 6 o'clock over Madison Square. Dan, shall we?
Yes. I think we
NFL game
shall.
picks. Let's get into the appetizer.
Yes. Breakfast game.
Across the pond, the Dolphins, quote unquote, hosting the Washington football team. Dolphins are -2.5. The football team obviously will not have Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
Again, over under is 47.5. Dolphins have kind of been playing okay recently. What do you make of this line?
Yeah, so the Dolphins, they just beat the Bills 30-13 last week. I think they're kind of riding a high right now. I think I like the Dolphins in this game just because I'm not a believer in former Heisman winner Marcus Mariota. I just want to make that clear. He won the Heisman one time. But I think the Commanders just don't know where to go at this point with Jaden Daniels. constantly dealing with these injuries. Look, I think Dan Quinn is a fantastic coach, but at the same time, I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think they're going to cover too. It's at -1.5, -115. Love it. But I like to go the unders in those London games because of the fact that I think that the jet lag and the different environment always plays a little bit of a factor. Over under is 47.5. Give me the under.
I like the over here. I just don't trust either of these defenses. Granted, the Dolphins had a good game against the Bills. Such a letdown game for the Bills, but that's not surprising after they play the Chiefs. They seem to always play well against the Chiefs,
true.
and then they go to South Beach and get waxed. But I don't like that in this spot. I think even with Mariota running the football team offense, I think there's something in the waters. 47.5 seems high, right? So give me that over.
Sure.
All right, noon slate. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at the Buffalo Bills. Again, the Bills trying to come back after that loss to the Dolphins. Bills are -5.5. Over under is 46.5.
Buccaneers are trying to come back after a loss to the Patriots too in the Tom Brady Bowl.
Right.
I like the Buccaneers on this line, man. I like 5.5. I think this is going to be a field goal type of game. So give me the I just sneezed. I'm so sorry to everybody. That's the first time that's happened ever, I think. I've never sneezed one time on.
You and Shreyas both just struggled a little bit.
Shreyas needed a lozenge. I've been feeling sick over the last couple of days, so
great.
Pardon me, but I know. Yes, get away. I like the Buccaneers on this line. I think it's gonna be a field goal game. I think the Bills do win it though. I like the under in this game, 46.5.
I like the Buccaneers as well. +5.5 feels like it's too much respect to the Bills. I get it. Somebody beats the Chiefs, and all of a sudden they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But yeah, Bucks +5.5. That's too many points for a solid team. Yes, my computer's touchscreen. I just don't ever use it very often. I know, right?
Fancy, man. I can touch my screen too, but it doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do much except probably hurt it. Packers are -7 on the road in East Rutherford as they take on the Brian Daboll-less New York Football Giants. Over under 42.5.
But you know who's starting at quarterback for the New York Football Giants?
I do.
Jameis Winston. I think he's going to give him a bump, man. I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in this game. It's going to be electric. So I think the defense is going to
beautiful day.
A beautiful day. The beautiful Jameis Winston stat line. Give me the over in this game, though. I do think that he is going to score some points. I like the Packers too. I mean, Packers to me still feel like I know that they've lost some games here and there. I still think that they can win the Super Bowl this year.
That was a poopy performance for them against the Eagles. I'll take the Giants +7. Again, I think that's too many. And Packers last game was 10-7. This is kind of a stupid reason, but law of averages over 42.5. I think the Packers will score, but I think the Giants will score as well. I'll take the full touchdown in PAT. Texans-Titans, a classic game nobody wants to watch. Texans are -5.5 on the road. Over-under is 37.5. No CJ Stroud.
Yeah, no CJ Stroud is going to be tough. They're still 5.5 point favorite. I like Cam Ward, man. I do. I don't know why. He's what you think Justin Fields is. Like, he actually is a good quarterback with no supporting cast around him.
Oh my God.
I think that the Tennessee Titans go and win this game +225.
I'm going to, first of all, avoid this game, and I'm going to avoid responding to that.
Come on.
I truly, wow. Chargers at the Jags. This seems like a game that should be taking place in London, but it's actually in Duval County.
It does.
Jags are at home. +3. Over-under is 43.5. I feel like these teams have faced each other like 3 times already this year.
I know, it's weird. Yeah.
But this is the first game. Jags +3, over-under 43.5.
Is this in terms of quarterback play, is this the handsomest matchup of quarterbacks that we've seen?
No.
I think Trevor Lawrence is a handsome man.
No, he's not.
You cut off all of his hair. He's got that nice jawline. He's good.
That's no.
Justin Herbert's a good looking guy.
No, I'm out on that.
Come on.
Maybe Jameis Winston versus anybody really.
Sure.
Good looking guy. Great
Jameis
personality.
Is a good looking guy. Yeah, that's true. I like the Jags in this one. I think the Jags understand that they absolutely blew it last week against the Texans. I like the Jags to cover in this game. I also like them to win +136. It's in Duval County. I like the Jags, man. I'm still not on Trevor Lawrence.
So interesting this game for Chiefs fans, right? Because the Jags are 5-4 and the Chargers are 7-3, but in the Chiefs division. So tough to say. Both these teams have beaten the Chiefs already. I guess you cheer for the Jags and still hope that Kansas City can win the division.
I'm
even though
cheering
they're
for the
2.5
Jags, but
back
I
to
do
the
think they're going to
Broncos.
win, though.
Yeah, all right, Jags +3.
Over 43.5.
I'm going to avoid that one. It scares me. Bengals and Steelers. Bengals are just +5.5 on the road. Over under 49.5.
Yeah, do they know something that we don't? I don't. I mean, I think the Steelers are going to kill them. And they're -112.
The Steelers have been terrible recently.
Yeah, but
give me the Bengals
know.
+5.5 with Joe
No,
Flacco.
I do not have any faith in the Bengals. I think
Steelers are down bad, man. Give me Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco is a pumpkin that hasn't rotted yet, and it's rotting this week, and it will fast in this game. Give me the Steelers at -5.5. I might even find an alternate line. Take them like 9.5.
Bengals money line +200 and the over 49.5. Let Flacco cook. Another noon game on Sunday. Bears at Vikings. Chicago is +3. Over under 48.5.
Yeah, I like the Bears to cover in this game. +3 is so tough because whenever I like these close games, it always is kind of by a field goal, right? So if I take your points. If I take them +3. Then that's a push. Is that correct?
Correct.
If the Vikings, the Vikings win it by a field goal, I think the Bears are going to win this game. Honestly, I don't know why. I like Ben Johnson. I like Caleb Williams. I think Roma Dunze is having a good year. Give me the Bears, man. I like the Bears.
Bears have been playing well recently. Final noon game on Sunday. Falcons hosting the Panthers. Classic NFC South battle. -3.5 for the homestanding Falcons. Over under is 41.5.
Between the Titans Texans and the Panthers Falcons game, how many total viewers are there going to be watching those games? Over under 100.
Scott Hansen will be watching it, but that may be
it. Sure, that's fair. Yeah, people will catch it on Red Zone, I'm sure, so that'll be fine. I like the Panthers in this game. I like the Panthers to win +160. I mean. They're weirdly not as bad as everyone thought they were going to be, right? I believe Michael Penix is going to be playing, but I think Drake London is questionable as of right now. If Drake London's out, Panthers are for sure winning. If Drake London's in, we'll see. But I like the Panthers.
Seahawks, Rams. Seahawks are +3.5 in Inglewood. Over under is 48.5.
Yeah, I love the Seahawks. I've completely flipped on them.
Man, people are saying Stafford for MVP.
I know, and Matt Stafford he's looking good, man. I mean, that's a guy who just ages like a fine wine. Maybe it's the veneers. I think the veneers have made him a better quarterback. But this is actually the first. I think this is the opportunity that Matthew Stafford has to go over 500 for the first time in his career in terms of games won and lost by him. So maybe there's an extra little bit of there for Matt Stafford. So I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to go with the Rams to win this game. Seahawks cover the 3.5.
I'm going to go Seahawks +3.5 as well. It's just one of those divisional games. Good teams. I like the hook there at 3.5. I also like the over 48.5. It's not going to scare me away. Another 3:00 game, another divisional game as the Cardinals host the Niners. Cards are +3. My understanding, Dan, is that Brock Purdy will be back. I believe Ricky Pearsall will also be back for the 49ers. Over-under is 48.5.
Yeah, but how long is it going to take Brock Purdy to look like Brock Purdy again is the real question. Now, I understand the Cardinals are the Cardinals, right? But also, I don't really have a whole lot of faith unless Brock Purdy plays a couple of more games. I think the Cardinals cover this one at the +3. They might even win it at +145. I don't want to give any gambling advice out on this one, though, because I really just don't know, right? I don't know how Brock Purdy's going to play. I don't know how the Cardinals are going to play. Marvin Harrison Jr. has a good game, then sure, the Cardinals might win it. +146.
Marvin Harrison Jr. out this weekend. Give me the Niners. Give me the Niners -3 in this one. I like the matchup. Cardinals beat the Cowboys. Otherwise, they're not good. Yeah. Chiefs at Broncos. We can go in to detail on this a little bit more if you'd like, but the Chiefs are -3.5 in the mountains. Over-under is 44.5.
I like the Chiefs. I like that the Chiefs are favored. I think it shows that
the professionals like our chances.
The professionals are not entirely out, right? Because it feels like the media is taking a turn on the Chiefs, and they're saying, "Oh, finally, the reign of terror is over. The Chiefs are bad." I'm with the public on this one, and this isn't just because I'm a Chiefs fan. Chiefs are going to go in there and beat them.
Chiefs are going to win, and Chiefs are going to cover.
Chiefs win, Chiefs cover. That's the Dan Courtwright special. I do like the under in this game, though. I don't love the 44.5. I think both defenses are relatively solid. This game's got like 17-13 written all over it for some reason. I just don't see a lot of points being scored. I think Patrick Mahomes has an okay game, just enough to beat the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix obviously is really good. Cortland Sutton's good, but I like the Chiefs in this one. Unbiasedly, I like the Chiefs to cover.
I don't know what to
the 3.5.
I don't know what to do about the spread, and you have to lay the minus 205 if you want the Chiefs to win. But I disagree with you. I think Mahomes has a great game because he tends to shine bright when the lights are bright, right? And this is a big game. We talked about this a little bit earlier this week. This game determines if the Chiefs are trying to figure out if they want to or how they're going to get in the playoffs, or if we're going to start worrying about seed line.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs win, they're 6-4. All of a sudden, yeah, you still have some good teams. You have the Broncos and the Chargers down the line, but both those are at home. Plus, you get teams like the Titans still at home. The Colts game is also at home. So you feel good whenever you're playing at Arrowhead. 6-4, you're thinking, okay, how can we win the division? How can we get the 1 seed, 2 seed, whatever it is, ideally the 1, right?
Sure.
But if you lose this game, like I said, you're 5-5. All of a sudden, you're trying to count enough wins to get you through the final 7 games. So this is tough. I do think Mahomes and the Chiefs get it done, but I don't feel great about the spread. I guess I'll lay the minus 205. I like the fact, as you said, that the Chiefs are favored. It makes me feel good because Vegas usually wins, and hopefully the Chiefs win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying like the Chiefs are going to win this one ugly. Like I think they'll win. They're going to win it ugly. I think they're going to win it by 4. I mean, it's not going to be too much. It's not going to be a lot higher than the spread. It's going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be a defensive game too. So that's why I like the under in this one. But hopefully the Chiefs win this one. They get back on track to hopefully. There's a lot of season left. A lot of guys can lose. A lot of teams can win. Chiefs are still not out of the picture of the 1 seed. I need them to win the AFC West, and it's going to be really, really tough. You got to start here.
Just win, baby. Doesn't matter how it looks. Just get it done. Ravens at Browns, the last 3:25 game on Sunday. Ravens are minus 7.5, over under 38.5.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Ravens in this game.
I'm riding the Ravens too. They're playing well. 3 straight wins.
Their defense is horrible, though. I mean, I am Marlon Humphrey's okay. You know, Roquan Smith is fine. Just their defense is giving up, and they kind of had a history of giving up a lot of points too. Do the Browns figure out a way to score points on this Ravens team? Not saying that they're going to win, not even saying they're going to cover. I think I like the over in this game. It's at 38.5. That is super low. That feels way low for me. Give me the over.
I think I like the over too. Usually with a low over under, I like the under, but I agree. Ravens have a bad defense. Lamar has been cooking. Give me the Ravens minus 7.5 and the over 38.5. Sunday Night Football, it should be a good one. Out by the Liberty Bell, Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles hosting the Lions, minus 2.5 are the homestanding Birds. Over under is 46.5.
The Detroit Lions go into the link and defeat the Philadelphia Eagles plus 124.
Probably should just take the 2.5.
Nope.
I think you should do it.
Nope.
Give me the over 46.5. I think both teams will score in this one. Eagles scored just 10 at the Frozen Tundra. I think they're able to get some points on the board against the Lions defense. And I like the Lions plus 2.5, but it should be a good Sunday Night Football game, which is nice because there haven't been a ton of those. Get the Steelers off primetime. That finally happened. That's our NFL game pick segment for this week. After this, we've got our sports stock market coming up. Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks for watching on KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here at Kansas Nation. Hey, Kansas Nation. Can't do it all by ourselves. We want to say a big shout out to Miles Schneier.
That's absolutely right. Miles Schneier, Crown Automotive, Crown Toyota, and Volkswagen. They're the best car dealership in town. Everybody there treats you very nicely. We actually had Miles Schneier at our event on Wednesday. Loved him swinging by. Great people, great wine too. By the way, Miles Schneier has his own wine that he produces and sells. But more importantly, Crown Automotive. The best place to get your car in Lawrence or Kansas City or Topeka, wherever you go, you got to make the trip out to Crown Automotive. They'll treat you right.
KU Soccer will be partaking in their 11th NCAA tournament and second consecutive.
That's right.
Both years under head coach Nate Lee, and match 1 is tonight, 6 o'clock at Rock Chalk Park as KU takes on the Lancers of California Baptist. The winner of that, well, we're not really sure. If KU wins, they'll probably take on Duke. But as Greenstein tried to explain to us a couple days ago, it's not the same where you get to host just because you're a seed. KU
Yeah.
a 3 seed, the highest they've ever been, but they wouldn't automatically face the winner of Louisville, Kentucky. Unless Elon beats Duke, then this will be KU's last game at Rock Chalk Park. So pack the
Let's
park,
root for
get
Elon.
out 6 o'clock, root for Elon just in case, but more importantly, root for the Jayhawks. Make sure we get past the Lancers of Cal Baptist. I have all the faith in the world in Sophie Daw. I like the Jayhawks 2-0 tonight to advance
Ooh.
to the round of
You know what?
32.
I'll take it a step further. I'll go 3-0.
Whoa, how about that? Hey, Sophie Daw, you're on the clock, all right? Just don't give up any goals and just do what you do. Looking forward to covering KU soccer tonight. And, of course, you can find updates on kansasnation.com. Give us a subscription as well. We are on Apple. We are on I almost said Spotify podcast. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify, YouTube. Subscriptions on there are a big help as well. And follow us on socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, at Kansas Nation, at The Kansas Nation. You'll find us on there. Really appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Sports Stock Market.
Ding, 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 ding.
Kick us
Ding,
off,
ding,
Daniel.
Ding. I need a bell.
You do.
Why? I need to. I'll run by like Dollar
Here,
General.
hit the wine bottle with your pen.
Probably can't even hear that in the microphone.
That's decent.
Sports stock market. Let's start here. Maybe one of the bigger stories of the week that was stocks up on firings because Nico Harrison, noted general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, now former general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. It was about time. Maybe it's because I'm a sadist. I don't know how to, but I actually wanted him to continue with his job because of I wanted him to see how the team that he was trying to build without Luka. I wanted him to see it in full fruition of how bad this actually was going to be, because there's going to be another GM who's going to be coming in and he's going to make a lot of changes. I wanted to see how badly Nico Harrison could mess this up. And granted, I will say this. Aside from maybe the worst trade in NBA history, he wasn't a terrible GM in terms of some of the decisions he made, right? Like, he brought in Kyrie. He was the one who brought in PJ Washington. He got Derek Jones Jr., right? There's a number of different pieces that Nico Harrison was able to assemble or trade away or whatever it may be. He did a good job until the absolute blunder of the trade of Luka Doncic.
I mean, it's a blunder of a career. And over at American Airlines, where the Mavs play their home games, a lot of fire Nico chants over the years. Luka Doncic was actually asked post-game press conference, a Lakers game after this happened on Wednesday, if it opened the possibility of him returning to Dallas at some point now that Nico's gone. And he essentially said, no comment, I'm focused on the Lakers, as you'd expect anybody to do. But
He's having an incredible season, by the way.
He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. I saw something to where if I think they're doing this, the NBA All-Star game is going to be Team World against Team USA.
Fun.
It's not going to be close.
No.
Because USA no longer has prime LeBron, prime KD, prime Curry.
Yeah.
The 5 best players in the league right now would all be Team World. It'd be Luka, SGA, Giannis,
Nikola Jokic,
and Wemby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, USA is going down if that happens. But yeah, Mavs fans have been showing up wearing Lakers Doncic jerseys.
So that's the thing. That's another thing. So Bleacher Report actually tweeted this out. Apparently, there was a kid in a Luka Doncic jersey hanging out with Patrick Dumont, who is the primary owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He was wearing a Luka Lakers jersey. And people were kind of curious about this. This happened maybe a week or maybe a couple of days before Nico Harrison actually did get fired. Apparently, this kid's name was Nicholas Dickinson, and his parents have season tickets to all the Dallas Mavericks games. And I guess Nicholas flipped off Patrick Dumont at one of the games. His dad was so mad that his dad made him go and apologize to Patrick Dumont, because they have season tickets a couple rows behind Patrick Dumont, and they've kind of crossed paths before. So his dad made him go apologize to Dumont. Dumont said, hey, come down pregame, sit with me, let's have a talk. So I guess they went down, had a talk, super civil, right? Just kind of talked about how he's feeling as a fan, what does he think about the elephant in the room of the Luka Doncic trade. And he told him straight up, he's like, look, it was a horrible trade. Now, it doesn't take a genius to be like, I think you should have kept the best player in the NBA. Sure, obviously, right? But he brought it up, and he's like, look, with fans, like a lot of the fans are turning on the Mavs, and yeah, look, you do have Cooper Flag, you have a lot of bright spots in the future, but you got to do something. A couple days later, Nico Harrison got fired. So how much of that Nicholas Dickinson kid seeped into Patrick
Stock's up on
Dumont?
Dickinson. Stock is also up on being cordial. How about that? It is
Yes.
down, however, on Army basketball.
That's right. Army got absolutely killed by Duke. It was it was interesting. Army put up a banner for Mike Krzyzewski as the all-time winningest coach in NCAA history. How do you
some of those
feel
games?
about
Some
that?
of those games were with Army.
Yeah, a couple.
I'm good with it. Honestly,
Are you okay with it?
I'm good with it. Yeah,
Sure. Okay, fair enough. But I will say this: this is a fun stat that I found on Twitter. It says this is from NCAA buzzer beaters and game winners. It says reminder that coaches that started at Army have made the tournament a combined 71 times and won 8 national championships. But Army itself has never made it to the NCAA tournament. That includes Mike Krzyzewski and it includes Bobby Knight.
Stock's down on West Point basketball. But hey, you know what? At least they can say that. That's a bummer, though. I mean, it's a stepping stone. It is.
Sure, but it's
But
that's
two of the legends of the game.
Yeah, but that's like K-State fans claiming Dana Altman. You know what I mean? That's like,
Right.
Do you remember that back? What was it? 2017, 2018, whenever?
2017, yeah.
2017 when Oregon made it to the Final Four. K-State fans were like popping champagne. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you?
Well, I mean, a lot of that was because KU lost to Oregon that year.
Also true.
That's
Which another
rent-free,
heartbreaker. but
rent-free.
yeah, rent free. That one sucks. Stock's on getting what you deserve. This is actually crazy. So obviously KU is playing in the NCAA tournament for women's soccer coming up today. Memphis women's soccer. This is fascinating. They went 16-0-3 during the regular season. They had a win over Vanderbilt, who's a 1 seed, and Tennessee, who's a 3 seed, right? You think that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
0 losses on the year. You beat a 1 seed.
They should be
and a
the number
3
1
seed.
overall seed.
You would think, hey, maybe they get a host, right? Maybe they, or I guess as a 7 seed, I believe they are going to be hosting.
You get to host one.
Yeah, they're hosting
match,
one.
'cause you get
so
you get the seed itself.
which is sure, whatever. But you would think that they would, potentially be in the spot to host 2 games and have a much easier schedule. They finished the year ranked number 3 in the country.
Stock is down.
They ended up in the NCAA tournament with a 7 seed.
Stock's down on the American Athletic.
7 seed. You were number 3 in the country, RPI. And you know what? They give you a 7 seed. They go, here's a 7 seed. Here's a 7 seed, Memphis. Hey, you know how you didn't lose any games? And you also beat a 1 seed and a 3 seed? We'll give you 7 seed. That's insane. That there is like some justice that needs to be served. Like,
has anybody come out and said anything about this? Because it just seems ridiculous.
So I saw the video of when it was announced, and the players were like,
they were
yay.
Like when KU basketball gets a 2 seed.
It's just kind of like, hooray. Like they were like, you could tell there was like a little bit of a weird tension in the room because they're like, 7 seed, like what the hell is that?
Yeah,
that's unbelievable. Stock's down on Under Armour. It's actually going to be kind of a beautiful full circle type of thing. But Steph Curry and Under Armour have currently parted ways. Curry will now be a sneaker free agent.
Why?
He's probably the old. I don't know. I mean, he's 37 years old, but still, like,
he's still balling out.
So for Under Armour, like, who else do they have? They went on a run, by the way. 2016, they had Cam Newton.
They had Texas Tech for a little bit.
They had Texas Tech for a little bit. They still have Auburn. I think they still have Auburn. I know Maryland, but that's because the owner of Under Armour went to Maryland.
Right.
I think that's like big names. That's like UAB, sure.
So a sneaker free agent. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else is Under Armour. It's really gone away. I mean, Mahomes.
He used to be huge.
Mahomes stole Texas Tech away from Under Armour, and I mean, Curry was their biggest name.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
By the way, shout out to New Balance guys like Wimby.
Well, so
and
Cooper
Shohei
Flag,
Ohtani.
Shohei, Cameron Brink.
I mean, not just the dad sneaker for New Balance.
Shout out to New Balance.
But
man.
hey, maybe Curry will go over to New Balance. Who knows?
You never know. But the reason this is kind of a full circle thing is because the reason that Steph Curry ever signed with Under Armour in the first place is because he was going to sign with Nike, and the person who presented the pitch to Steph Curry, the Nike pitch, was Nico Harrison, and he mispronounced his name and misspelled his name in the presentation.
Oh my God, Nico!
He kept on calling him. I think he kept on calling him either Stefan or Steven.
Steven, yeah.
It was one of the two, and he misspelled it on the presentation. And Steph Curry's like,
yeah.
What
Like, how? Right.
What even is this? This is
Right.
insane. Stocks down on pennies.
Pennies. That's a
Are
bummer.
rip in peace.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
they're going away. Are we going to replace them with MIAA coins?
No, I wish. Gosh, imagine carrying a bunch of these around in your pocket. Hey, here's a penny. The United States ended production of the penny on Wednesday. For more than 230 years, a penny has circulated through American piggy banks and cash registers, but rising production costs, each penny now costs nearly 4 cents to make. So
Really?
it costs 4 cents to make 1 cent.
Wow.
So they got rid of the penny.
So should I hang on to them? I mean, how long do we think these are going to be around?
I don't know. So they're kind of like sales tax token. You know what sales tax tokens are?
Mhm.
They had them back in they had them for Kansas had it for 2 years in the 30s. They were either like they were like 1/10 of a cent or like 2/10 of a cent because things were way cheaper back then, and they couldn't really use the rounding system, right? Like if you had 2% tax on something that was like 5 cents, it's like, well, how do I even do that? So they had sales tax tokens, and now you can get a handful at a flea market for like $1.
Right,
You know what I mean? So I don't know if they'll be worth anything in the future. Can't imagine they will be. But R.I.P. man.
I can show my children, teach them about the
Yeah.
penny.
Hey, back in my day, we used to. I mean, back in your day, they had Buffalo nickels and Indian head pennies. I know.
Yeah.
And did they have credit cards back then?
I don't think so.
Man, God, you're so old. But yeah, no. R.I.P. to the penny, man. How will you be utilized? Because they'll still be legal tender, right? People can still use pennies
For the foreseeable future.
but like 100 years from now, how are people going to be using pennies? Will they, or will everything?
No, there's no way.
Will everything just be rounded off to 5?
Yeah, there's no way. It'll be 5s.
I hate that. Hate it so much. Stocks up on insane stats.
Man,
because
this girl had
women's
a day.
basketball. So there's 2 women's basketball stats that I want to shout out. Number 1 is Hannah Hidalgo
Gotta start with her.
Notre Dame.
Gotta start.
44 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. She went 16 of 25 from the field in 28 minutes, 16 steals.
28 minutes, 16. I would go
16
back.
steals?
I would go back and watch this game.
I saw a
Be
tweet.
like, how did this happen?
I saw a tweet that said, "There's no way anybody should get 16 steals in 28 minutes without a gun."
Right.
Like that's insane.
I would seriously go back and watch this game and try to figure it out. What, she had like 9 in the first half and 7 in the second half?
I have no idea.
Shout out to Jalen Johnson, by the way, the Hawks last night. He had 7 steals.
Yeah, that's crazy. 28 minutes, 16 steals. I mean, were they playing a team with no arms? I don't
think
understand
she's going to
it.
be, I don't know for sure, but I think she's going to be a top 2 or 3 pick in the WNBA draft, which makes sense.
Good for her.
Anyway, they had Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles last year before Miles now transferred to Texas Christian.
That's right. Also, shout out to Big 12, Audie Crooks. She had 43 points in 20 minutes.
Dominant.
How? They were playing, you know who they were playing?
I don't.
Valpo.
KU's opening Big 12
Valparaiso.
game on the women's side, December 21st, they have to go up to Ames and take on Audie Crooks.
She's a stud,
That's gonna be
dude.
tough.
She's so good.
Be tough.
She is unbelievably good. 43 points. That's the by the way, that's a single game high for any Iowa State basketball player. She did it in half a game. That's unbelievable.
Hidalgo, man, probably even more impressive.
And then stocks down on Cal Raleigh. Big dumper.
Yeah, Aaron Judge strikes again.
Womp womp.
You know, if you look at the advanced stats, Judge should have gotten it. People hate the Yankees, I know, but it is impressive. 60-plus homers as a switch hitter, as a primary catcher. Shout out to Cal Raleigh, Silver Slugger, all that. But yeah, Judge is still all-world.
Shohei, by the way, won MVP.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, right.
How about that?
This is
Ohtani and Judge, who'd have thunk?
4th MVP in 5 years. Is that correct?
Right? Plus a couple World Series championships.
Is he going to go down as the greatest baseball player of all time?
He will.
You think so?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
We'll see
that
what
was
he does. Hopefully he
quick.
remains healthy the rest of his
Sure.
career. But yeah, I mean, he pitches and hits, man. In today's day and age,
I know, that's insane.
nasty. And he does both very well. That was our sports stock market for today. After this, we're going to hear from the 2-time national champion Bill Self, who spoke to the media earlier today. Of course, breaking the news that Darren Peterson will not play tomorrow. You'll hear that. And a lot of follow-up questions about DP and some other individuals on this KU team. Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com. KU head coach Bill Self met with the media earlier today and, well, unsurprisingly, was immediately asked about the status of Darren Peterson and other things. Here's Coach.
I'm just wondering if you have an update on Darren.
Yeah, he will not play tomorrow.
Okay.
He will not play tomorrow. He is still sore, and for whatever reason, it's still sore, and trying to figure it out. But we don't think it's a long-term deal at all. But as long as it's still this sore, he says, and limits him at all, there's no reason to put him out there yet. So that's where we're at.
With signing day, you now have 4 members of your class in the books. What's your perspective on kind of how this class came together, and where do you figure out in terms of potentially adding more?
I think the class is pretty good. We're probably a player away from it being an elite class, but I like the 4 guys we got. You know, and then obviously, you know, we've got a commitment from a young kid as well. But I think we're probably a player away from what I would view as you know, a legitimate top 5, top 3 type class. And we're recruiting some guys, so hopefully that'll play out to be true. I don't know if it'll happen this early signing period, but we'll have to wait and see.
Real quick, just for context on Darren, when was the first time that he mentioned the hamstring issue being something that's bothering him?
First time, you know, weeks ago. He's played with it, you know, but it's still sore. So medical staff and everybody thinks it's something that's healing and getting better. But the reality of it is, after the Carolina game, you guys remember that first burst that he had when he stole the ball and had the layup, first 2 points of the game. He didn't stretch it. I mean, he didn't do anything bad to it, but he said it just felt different since then, like tight. And that's all it is tightness. So you know, we'll just kind of play it by ear day to day and see where it goes. But he's doing he's been doing all that for a while. It's just a situation in which he's been doing it long enough that he shouldn't be feeling it at all, and he still is a little bit.
Got it. And on the recruiting front, with Talon, with his skill set, do you remind you of any past point guards you've had?
Mario, maybe. You know, he's a scoring point, and I think that's what Mario was as much as anything. Kind of built like Mario a little bit more so than Sharon or any of the guys or Devontae, but he's a point, but he's a scoring point. So I think could he be a Devontae type or a Mario type? I think he could be.
And same thing with Davian, with his wingspan. I know in the release you mentioned him as a power forward, but he can play 5 too. Yeah. Skill set wise, remind you of anyone else from the past?
I'm thinking right now. Offensively, he's certainly not Shady yet. But Shady was also arguably as good a freshman as there was in the country. But the only one that comes to mind right now, could he probably doesn't shoot it as well as Markeith, but a more athletic, bouncier player like Markeith. He's a skilled guy that doesn't really shoot it as well, but he's got a lot of, you know, both hands passing. He's really, really long. He's got a lot of game, but he doesn't stretch it as consistently as what probably Markeith did at the same age.
What stands out to you about Princeton?
What's that?
About Princeton?
I could be wrong on this because they're shooting over 33s a game. They back cut the heck out of you, and we've struggled guarding back cuts. So, you know, if you can eliminate threes and back cuts, that would probably be a pretty good formula to have some, at least a little bit of defensive success, because they can make you look pretty foolish with those two things.
So is Darren still practicing, or is he just not practicing at all?
He hasn't practiced the last 2 days.
When does it become a problem? Coaches love practice so much, and he's not getting to play with the other starters.
Yeah.
How concerned are you about team development?
I will be if this thing, prolongs. No question, Gary. But right now, a couple of days, I'm not. Guys, he practiced the day of our game on Tuesday. But he said it just feels tight. So, and it still felt tight yesterday. So,
Is it tight hamstring? Is that what we call it? What about the Duke game? Is there hope he plays?
well, yeah, there's hope, but we're not. We'll have to wait and see how he feels. So we'll show up regardless.
What do you think of playing a team as good as Princeton this early? An Ivy League team that's known, for passing and all that.
Yeah, historically, that Princeton's had one of the best programs. Well, historically, they probably do have the best program, in the Ivy. Them or Yale. Yale's been on a roll lately, but going back historically, they knocked me out of the NCAA tournament when I was a player. Way back when Craig Robinson was actually one of their starting forwards on that team.
20 points.
What's that?
He had 20.
Against Oklahoma State?
Yeah, you had 8.
I played. You know what? But my 8 was impressive, though. It really was an impressive 8. I'm joking. He had 20, though? Man,
So did another guy, but I forget his name.
well, he wasn't the First Lady's brother, the other guy. Yeah, the historically great program, and they play similar, but not the exact style. They're probably casting up and playing faster, more quick threes than what they did even when Coach Carrill was there.
I was interested in something you said about Trent when you announced his signing, when you referred to him as someone who, when he's on your team automatically becomes better. I'm just wondering, how do you kind of deduce that someone has that quality in the process of recruiting them, and how do you see that?
I heard that from his coaches, that they can't take him off the floor. And there's one other guy I heard it from through MoCan named Christian Brown. And Christian told me, because I said, have you seen him? He said, oh my God, he's my favorite player to play with when I play pickup or whatever, because he just knows how to play. So, he's a big guard, defend 1 through 4, athletic, got to get more consistent shooting the ball. But if you have shooters around him, then that's fine. But you probably need to have some shooting around him.
Bill, when you watch Bryson Tiller, does he remind you of any player from the past? Is there a comparison that you feel like fits him, or do you think his skill set's kind of unique in the sense of what he offers?
Well, I think, let's just talk about Markieff all day. But to me, that's the guy that he reminds me of. Same size, same body type. Markieff, they can both stretch it, both skilled. Markieff maybe a little bit more bounce off too, but yeah, I think there's some similarities there.
Yeah, and when you have these comparisons of guys that kind of remind you of the past, do you reach out to the guy from the past hey, will you talk to him about your game at all, or mentor him a little bit?
To be honest with you, the first time I thought about who he compared to was just now when you asked me the question. I haven't. Now that doesn't mean that Markieff and Marcus and Mario and they've all been to practice. Mm-hmm. They've seen us play, but as far as saying, hey, would you get to him because your skill sets are similar? I haven't done that with him in that regard.
I think the analysts all say you have a 1 or 2 recruiting class. Do the coaches take pride in that? And
I don't think.
Does this prove your?
I actually don't know that that's the most recent one. Is it the most recent that our class was 1 or 2?
Yeah, 3 being the lowest, I think 1 the highest.
Really? Okay. Well, that's pretty good. But I will say this: there's a lot of things that can still develop that will elevate us or whoever if they're able to have a good November. So yeah, that's great. I love hearing that. I think if things fell right, then I certainly think this could be a class that could rank up there with one of the best that we've had.
Can you still hit the portal? Do you have enough spots?
Yeah, you're asking questions that you don't know the answers to, because how do you know who's going to return on your team? So the way I look at it, how many guys you know you're going to lose, those can be freshmen. How many guys you unexpectedly lose, those can be portal guys. So meaning guys that could return and don't. So I imagine we'll have space to still enter the portal when the time's right.
Following up on that, how much for these 4 that you signed was about just finding the best guys you could, and how much was fit for who you think might be back on the roster next season?
I think it was more about guys without the concern of who's returning. Because I don't think you can look at it that way. We can say, oh yeah, these guys are supposed to come back, these guys are scheduled to come back, but still, even with that being said, you could have a guy test the waters and stay in. There could be a lot of things that could happen. So I think this was more about what fits us on what we want to have on our roster and coach, but not based on, well, we need a 4-man or a 3-man. It would just go get the best players you can. But one thing we did need, we needed a point guard. So we knew that.
On a serious note, as a competitor, do you take an extra motivation against Princeton? Do you remember that game well?
I just told you, I thought I was great.
Because they knocked you out of the tournament.
In the first round. Yeah, I remember that. Thanks, Gary. I remember that too. I haven't thought about that in 30 years. So, no, I don't take extra pride in that whatsoever.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We're going to get a player here in a second.
That's a Hall of Fame head coach, Bill Self, a little bit earlier today. No Darren Peterson tomorrow, KU and Princeton. The last tune-up before the Champions Classic Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Central tip-off, KU and number 4 Duke. Let's make sure the Hawks are 3-1 after they knock off the Tigers tomorrow. 1 o'clock is tip-off from Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Crimson and Blue coverage beginning on Sports Radio 810 WHB starts at 11:30. After this, some college football and college basketball game picks courtesy of Dan Courtwright. Coming up next on Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com. KU basketball in action tomorrow. KU soccer, round 1 of the NCAA tournament tonight. 6 o'clock, pack the park. Get out and support KU soccer. Beautiful weather. Absolutely perfect day for a soccer match. The Hawks take on Cal Baptist. Hopefully they will advance to the round of 32. KU volleyball back at it tomorrow, as well as they head to the Little Apple for the Sunflower Showdown rematch. KU ranked number 13 in the country. They've stacked up those wins like we talked about. They haven't wavered too much in the standings. They've been consistently a top 20 team, even though they took some lumps earlier. They're 19-8, 10-3 in conference play heading into week 11. 4-match win streak, as I said, and a little bit of extra time to prepare for a K-State team that's 15-7, 8-6 in the conference. They have won 3 consecutive matches. Most importantly, K-State got us here, so we got to get them there. That's going to go down ESPN+. You can also follow KU Volleyball on Twitter at KU Volleyball. That also is going to be 1 p.m. So if you're at the basketball game or watching the basketball game, either double screen it and have KU Volleyball on the plus, or make sure you're following at KU Volleyball. We'll update that as well on KansasNation.com.
Also, KU basketball going to be taking on Missouri.
Yes.
KU women's basketball taking on Missouri at the T-Mobile Center tomorrow. So after the Princeton game, if you're here in Lawrence, just take a trip down the Turnpike, get to the T-Mobile Center to watch the border war for KU women's.
Yeah, it is a fun time of year, crossover season, not just basketball and football, but soccer. Would love to talk about them next week as well, after hopefully a win tonight against Cal Baptist. And yeah, KU volleyball also in action. So a lot going on. KU women off to a 3-0 start as well, as Dan said. Hopefully 4-0. Got to beat Mizzou. That is vital. All right, some college football game picks and maybe a basketball game pick or two. Dan, let's start at the site of College Game Day. How about this? Out by the Allegheny. Number 22 Pitt hosting number 9 Notre Dame. The homestanding Panthers are plus 12.5, over under 54.5.
Yeah, I like Pitt to cover in this game for sure. I mean, it's like you said, College Game Day is going to be there. Since they're hosting, it's going to be a kind of a ruckus environment, right? So I love Pitt to cover in this game. It's at minus 12.5. The public doesn't seem to like it. The public thinks that Notre Dame is going to win, but I think Henschel, the Pitt quarterback, is still really good. I think he goes for 300 in this game just because, there's so much kind of behind them. I really like this game. I do think Notre Dame maybe pulls it out in the end. CJ Carr is a really good quarterback, but I love Pitt to cover this 12.5.
Notre Dame, of course, eyeing a return trip to the college football playoff. Number 11, Oklahoma. They head to Tuscaloosa to take on number 4, Alabama. The seat that was once warm, maybe even hot a little bit for Kalen DeBoer, no longer, as the Bama's played really well recently. They are minus 6.5. Are the Tide over-under is 45.5.
Yeah, give me the Tide in this one. I'm not a believer in Brent Venables. Now, John Mateer is a good quarterback, and his over-under right now is at 210 for passing yards. Ty Simpson's at +2. He's at 280 plus for at +109. I love Ty Simpson to go over 280 in this one. I think the Crimson Tide runs away with this one.
Number 21, Iowa heads to L.A. As you know, USC is one of 2 former Pac-12 teams that is in LA. The other one is
That's
USC,
right.
UCLA.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. I would have totally forgot.
Yeah, so USC is the home team, meaning this game will be played
in LA.
Number 17 ranked Trojans are minus 6.5 against an Iowa team that can kind of score. 48.5 is the over-under.
They can kind of score.
Wisconsin's the new Iowa.
Yes, Wisconsin.
Shout out Jeff Grimes.
Shout out Jeff Grimes. They can kind of score. I'm glad you said kind of, because I still need to see more potentially from Iowa. I mean, it's just something about it. Just betting unders in Iowa games just calls to me. So I'm going to bet the under 48.5. Don't know where to go with this line. The line seems pretty good. The public likes USC. I'm not going to touch the line, but I like the under in this game.
Number 10, Texas at number 5, Georgia. The Tigers at home are minus 6.5. What? I said Tigers. Wow. The Bulldogs at home are minus 6.5. Over under is 49.5.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton looks really good as of late. I like Georgia in this one. It's in Athens. Arch Manning isn't what everyone thought Arch Manning was going to be, which, granted, it was a very, very, very high bar, maybe the highest bar that we've seen for a incoming starting quarterback.
What's the highest bar you've ever seen?
That one. I like Georgia in this game.
All right, let's go to the Big 12. K-State at Oklahoma State. Cowboys are plus 19.5. Over under 50.5.
So I like the over in this game, I think. Feels right to me.
You sound confident.
Say the line again.
It is 19.5. Wildcats are laying.
I think I like the Wildcats in this one.
All right, Arizona at number 25, Cincinnati. Bearcats are minus 6.5. Over under 56.5.
I like Cincinnati in this game. I think Arizona, they're riding that high coming off this Kansas win, but Cincinnati looks good to me.
All right, next up, West Virginia is at Arizona State. Of course, no Sam Levitt, but still the Sun Devils are minus 11.5. Over under 47.5. WVU's been playing pretty well.
They have been playing pretty well, but I think Blake Sims is going to put a pause to that. I think that Blake Sims is going to go over 3 touchdowns in this game. Arizona State walks out of there victorious, and they definitely cover.
Number 6, Texas Tech hosting UCF. Texas Tech, I mean, they just...
Is that fair?
I mean, who do they have? Who's the final game they play? I think they get West Virginia or Oklahoma State. One of those teams.
UCF looked good against Houston.
Red Raiders are minus 23.5. Over under is 48.5.
As much as it pains me to say, Texas Tech is going to cover in this game. The UCF is not good. And granted, like I said, they looked good against Houston, who Houston was potential frauds. I still like Connor Wegman, but Texas Tech, their run game is just so damn good, and they're so big and they're so athletic. I can never bet against Texas Tech.
Number 13, Utah in Waco to take on Baylor. Bears are plus 8.5. Over under 60.5.
Yeah, I like Baylor to cover in this one. It's in Waco. I understand Utah's been playing some really good ball as of late. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. 60.5 is the line. I like the over, man. I like it. This got like 45 to 38 written all over it, which I think covers for Baylor. But I think Utah might come out of this one victorious. You know what? I'm going to change that. Baylor wins. Baylor wins. Plus 260.
The game expected to be the closest on the docket for Big 12 football. Number 12, BYU hosting TCU. The Cougars, Dan, are only -3. Over-under's 51.5. I say only. They've only lost one game this year.
I know. It makes you think, right? Like, why is the game's in Provo? TCU's coming in. Josh Hoover's a good quarterback, but they're only a 3-point favorite. It's dangling in front of me. Like, it seems like the easiest bet of my life to take BYU on that -3, but maybe they know something that I don't.
So which trigger are you pulling?
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the easy one. Give me BYU -3. I mean, it's just it feels too easy, right?
Easy.
Feels too
All right,
easy.
you got it.
I
Hey,
know.
college basketball, 3 games we want to highlight really quick. One tonight, one tomorrow, one Sunday. Number 5, Arizona. They travel to UCLA, which means the game will be played
In LA.
Number 15
Wow.
ranked Bruins are +1.5 at home.
Koa Pete, man, what a dog. I think we see Bryce James in this one too. I like Arizona in this game though. They're -1.5. I know it's in LA, like you said, like Deshaun Foster said. In LA. Love Arizona in this game. I think Arizona, if it's not KU, but do I push that away and I go ahead and take the money line. I take the point -120.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, you're getting closer on
I'm
that.
figuring it out.
Tomorrow, another big one featuring a Big 12 team. Number 7, BYU hosting number 3, UConn. And by hosting, I mean this game is in Boston, -4.5.
Yeah, weird.
BYU and UConn. Do you like the Cougars -4.5?
It's at TD Garden. I think UConn's going to have a relatively good showing, but it's not going to be a home game, right? I think AJ DeBonsa looks good. Also, Kennard Davis just went through some stuff, so they're not going to have Kennard Davis, who transferred in from SIU, as a starter. I like UConn in this one. I like UConn in this one. I think UConn's a really, really damn good team. AJ DeBonsa goes off for like 30 though.
BYU had trouble against Delaware, ended up winning by 17.
Right.
But yeah, that'll be a fun one tomorrow. And then Sunday, number 1 Houston at number 22 Auburn. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like Houston in this one. It's gonna be hard. Right, it's gonna be very hard to bet ever against Houston. I understand that Auburn has some really good pieces around them, but Houston's just too good.
Hey, that's gonna do it for Rock Chalk Sports today. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Remember, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere on your socials as well. For Elijah Schmidt running the operations today and Dan Courtwright, I'm Sean Kellerman saying stay locked in all weekend long on KansasNation.com, and we'll catch you from 4 to 6 on Monday. Thanks for watching, KansasNation.com.